Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about AI generated art, the controversy around AI generated art, and a lawsuit over AI generated art. So yeah, this is escalating very, very quickly. We've talked about the backlash, the massive backlash that artists have had toward AI art, and in some ways rightfully so, because, you know, it's not that good yet, but it's gonna be.
Right, and if they're using your work to teach it to put you out of a job without your permission.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. I actually, in doing a little research for this video earlier today, I was looking up videos on AI art, and there were actually videos on YouTube. And I'm not pointing fingers at any particular YouTubers, but there are videos out there talking about how to deal with the depression of AI art, because I think people realize that their jobs are going to be lost.
Not for a while.
Not for a while. It's
and I think
definitely
it's gonna
not
get,
there.
And you know, you cannot replace people. I'm sorry. They're gonna, they're gonna replace me with AI.
Who says we haven't already? Yes, there's a long story.
Ha.
Beep, boop, bop. All right, so let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Almost 288,000 subs.
Yay!
Thank you for the support. We do make things. We do draw stuff.
Mostly you.
I do draw things.
I just don't.
We do draw. Yeah, I'm going to be doing more of that on the other channel, the Clownfish Gaming channel. So make sure you're subscribed to that. We make comic books. We are made livings off of art for years, and yeah, AI art is getting better and better very, very quickly. When I first looked into it, or I was first made aware of AI art, it was like, this is a bunch of nonsensical garbage. Like, this is never going to replace actual artists. And now I'm seeing some of the stuff being generated. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Okay, it's getting really good really quick. And for just stuff like, editorial art or, card art or something like that, that doesn't really require like, I guess a more personal touch. Like, you can say, yeah, just make me something that looks like Harry Potter doing a thing or whatever, and we're going to throw it into the, throw it on an article or something. And that's what's going to happen. I think a lot of the grunt work is going to be given to machines. Somebody still has to program them, but yeah, they're learning very quickly, and they're learning by aping your art. Basically, that's how they're learning. I know we did a video before talking about deviant art. Lots of controversy about deviant art because they were allowing these bots to crawl deviant art and use all of your artwork. Well,
that's one of the people in the lawsuit. The deviant art is one of the people that are suing. Yeah,
so let's talk about this, and then we'll talk about some of the backlash. So this is coming from The Verge. AI art tools Stable Diffusion and Midjourney, they're two of the biggest ones I think right now, are targeted with copyright lawsuit. The suit claims that generative AI art tools violate copyright law by scraping artists' work from the web without their consent. This is going to get really tricky because, you could argue that, well, they're just learning to draw by looking at other people's art, which is what humans do. You learn to draw by looking at how other people draw.
But they do it much quicker.
They do it much quicker than you.
And they're looking at everybody's work.
A trio of artists have launched a lawsuit against Stability AI and Midjourney, creators of AI art generators Stable Diffusion and Midjourney, and artist portfolio platform DeviantArt, which recently created its own AI art generator, DreamUp, which you were, as I recall, you were opted into that without you had to opt out.
Well, what's interesting to me is one of the artists is Sarah Anderson, who's Sarah Scribbles.
Okay, that's why it sounds familiar.
I think that's Sarah. I'm pretty sure it's Sarah Scribbles.
Yeah, so the artists Sarah Anderson, Kelly McKernan, and Carla Ortiz alleged that these organizations have infringed the rights of millions of artists by training their AI tools on 5 billion images scraped from the web without the consent of the original artists.
Wait, those are women. So if they don't agree that these women are right, are they misogynists?
They are. Yeah, it is. That's Sarah Scribbles. Yep. Yeah, and she's huge. I mean, and I'm sure.
I don't know the other ones, but they might be pretty big too.
Yeah, I mean, as far as webcomics go, she's definitely one of the bigger artists out there. Yeah, I forgot that was, because I'm just, Sarah Scribble, like her last name Scribble.
Oh yeah, that's not
Sarah Scribble, that's her name, right? Anyway, the lawsuit's been filed by lawyer and typographer Matthew Butterick, along with Joseph Savary Law Firm. They're currently suing Microsoft, GitHub, and OpenAI in a similar case involving the AI programming model Copilot, which is trained on lines of code collected from the web. Now, here's what's interesting is it's not just AI art. I was talking to Squid King the other day, and more news outlets are looking at AI-generated articles, which is kind of scary.
So you type in your narrative, and then it'll generate an article to reflect that.
The thing is we're already there. People don't realize that a lot of these websites like CBR, they literally use tools that help them come up with SEO optimized headlines. So those headlines that sound outrageous or nonsensical or what the hell, basically the AI is telling them, if you create an article called Top 5 Reasons Why The Last Jedi is Better Than She-Ra, you're gonna get hits.
You probably would on that one.
Yes, you would.
Or top 5 reasons why you should cancel your Hogwarts Legacy pre-order, and 5 reasons why you shouldn't.
That'll get hits too, because that's what people are looking for. So yeah, here's Carla Ortiz. As I learned more about how the deeply exploitive AI media models practice, I realized there was no legal precedent to set this right. Let's change it. Read more about our class action lawsuit here. Butterick says, it's another step toward making AI fair and ethical for everyone. He says the capacity of AI art tools like Stable Diffusion to flood the market with an essentially unlimited number of infringing images will inflict permanent damage on the market for art and artists.
Yes, it will. I have no doubt it will.
It will. And I'm of two minds on this one, because on one hand, progress, this is just kind of how it works. We invent technology that basically gets rid of the need for humans to do every little thing. We have,
but art isn't every little thing.
No, I think it's different, but commercial art in some ways really isn't. I mean, look, this is coming from a commercial artist. I'm going to tell you, commercial art, it's a product. It's a lot of times it's created to basically be looked at once or twice and destroyed, in the case of like magazine articles and, web articles and stuff like that. And, it's going to happen eventually. I think all we can do is just kind of slow the roll here.
As an art teacher,
yeah,
I hate it.
I know you hate it.
And I think art is very important. I think people undervalue art all the time. And I think that for a lot of kids, the art and music are essential to even learning like language and math and sciences and stuff. They go hand in hand. And historically speaking, art has been very important across the board societally. You said socially. It's very, very important to people. It's not just about selling a product a lot of times. I mean, for commercial art, they might just crap something out because they get paid to sell a product. But like with like comics or, art pieces in general, people try to argue they're all political. They're not all political, but they are often personal. Be it like, something you love or something that you just want to, recreate, or you have an idea in your head that you really want to put down on paper or a canvas or whatever. It's very, very important to people. And I don't think you can really separate art from an artist. I mean, you can, but you're losing a lot of, you're losing something in that. And I think it's detrimental. I can see why people are worried at depression, because artists tend to be a little more susceptible to that kind of thing. I think depression and anxiety and, imposter syndrome and all that shit, they tend to be a little more susceptible to that. And so now it's like, then they might have to lose their jobs too. People might not come to them anymore when anything's created. I can kind of see it. It's a little weird, but I get it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I always had a foot in both worlds, in tech and in art. And I mean, this was inevitable. I did not expect it to get this good this quick.
Well, when like Bob Iger was saying they were going to look into AI down the road.
I thought the original intention was to do the grunt work. I thought like originally they were looking at AI art to do in between frames on animation. You'd still need an artist to design characters and to do the keyframes, and then the AI would basically do the in-betweens.
Which still puts artists out of jobs. But it's kind of that tedium, the lower paying jobs. Unfortunately, those are the jobs that usually get cut the quickest. Look at, like cashiers at retail, they're being replaced by, self-checkout, which for some reason you need more people to manage the self-checkout than
you would have had to have hired to run the registers. That makes no sense.
I don't know. I'm thinking about like the whole Marvel with the VFX houses. What if they get to a place where they don't even need those people, so they could do like, because they want people to do the work of 4 people and pay them for less than the work of 1. Well, this would give them means to do that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because all you have to do, you get to a place where it's like, okay, the machine knows this is what we're looking for. This is what Iron Man looks like. So take Robert Downey Jr. or whoever they're going to replace him with, I'm sure, and put them in the Iron Man armor and make it consistent and do it. And I could see in 10 or 20 years the technology being there. I mean,
why do you need actors at that point?
Well, they're working on that too, aren't
Yeah.
they? They already are. I mean, they're already, creating digital actors from likenesses of deceased actors, or creating younger versions of actors. I mean, if you can have
Well, you still need an actor. They just put an overlay. But I'm just
a
like
filter, basically.
Yeah.
But eventually it'll get to a point where
yeah. What was that movie called where they had the guy? He made the girl, and she's supposed to be just a computer.
Oh, Simone.
Simone. Yeah. So it's getting closer and closer to that.
And that's totally going to happen at some point. I mean, at some point you'll be able to say, "Hey, computer, make me a movie like this, and this," and it'll generate a script. It'll create digital actors. I mean, it might suck ass, but there's a lot of movies created by humans that suck ass right now too.
Do we need to wear bras on our heads?
Why?
Because they're making a woman.
Oh, I got that.
Took you a minute.
It took me a minute. I'm like, wait, what?
Took you a minute. Most people probably have no idea what I'm talking about.
I thought that's how old we are. Yeah.
Well,
no.
we were little then. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I had
Okay,
to
for those who don't get it, I'm making a weird science joke.
Yes,
because they had to make a woman. They had to make a woman.
And they made a series too, and it wasn't very good.
Right, no Barbie doll was needed for them to do this.
So yeah, I mean, we have a lot of creators coming out. Del Toro and Miyazaki are like, yeah, this is garbage, but they are the old guard. Now, what I could see happen is we have a lot of kids today that are like, oh, this is what art is. I just put a prompt in and it makes me a picture and whatever. But eventually they will train it to do more specialized stuff. Make me comic book pages. Make me an action sequence in 3D, make me whatever. And you're still going to need somebody, again, to oversee that. But I mean, you're talking a handful of people versus hundreds of people. And it's scary.
So people are probably listening to this and being like, okay, I need to go get a job doing that.
You know what? That's always been the case. So it's always been like, look, if you've got
I'll be the gatekeeper of AI art.
If you look at manufacturing, so many jobs were lost to machines, but if you own the factory,
if you own the machines, you own the person who make the machines.
You're the only place that makes the machines, then you're in pretty good shape. Anyway, let's go on. Since AI art tools exploded in popularity over the past year, the art community has reacted strongly. That is an understatement.
Well, I don't blame them, honestly.
Some say these tools can be helpful, much like past generations of software like Photoshop and Illustrator. Many more object to the use of their work to train these money-making systems. That's the big problem.
Yeah, there's a difference between Photoshop, where you use it to create art, and this, which is scraping art to make art without you.
It's basically, yes, scraping all of your art and then recompositing it into something that's...
Or if I were Photoshop, I'd be worried about that. Because who's going to buy your stuff if no one can do that? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, I remember there being a debate back in the day, digital art wasn't real art. Even if you were drawing it yourself. And I remember when pen tablets first came out, that people were like, well, it'll never be as good as drawing by hand. These are clunky, they're ridiculous. And just in 15, 20 years, the technology has advanced so fast that it is literally like drawing on paper now.
Well,
so
if art is a reflection of humanity and, that kind of stuff, and a reflection of the artist, and it's like it looks into the soul of people and all the other stuff. At what point does this make that art generated by computers? When do they become? Does that make them like more human? Because they have to understand. Do you know what I'm saying? Like emotions have to portray that. So is this actually like the one step further, taking the AI to being human?
Maybe this is the singularity. Maybe this is it. Maybe it's over.
Damn,
if
we get flipping terminated over, them stealing AI art, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. I'm like Skynet. It's deviant art. Shit.
Now I know what it's like to human. Forbes. Look, this is the writer of the article, Rob Salkowitz, put in: is AI coming for commercial art? Rendered by Stable Diffusion, prompted.
It's actually a really cool piece, though.
And it's the Terminator, basically. So yeah, it's not out of the question, right?
I'm just saying.
So they said the lawsuit launched by Butterick and Joseph Savari law firm has been criticized for containing technical inaccuracies. For example, the suit claims that AI art models store compressed copies of copyrighted protected training images and then recombine them, functioning as a 21st century collage. However, AI art models do not store images at all, but rather mathematical representations of patterns collected from these images.
Well, that's basically storing images then.
Yeah, it's
because if you look at the patterns of an image, there are it's based on shapes and mathematics. So that's basically the same image. You can break it down to shapes, but it's still the image.
Right. Software does not piece together bits of image, but creates pictures from scratch based on mathematical representations.
So it looks at pictures, breaks it down to the shapes, to the proportions, to what mathematically leads you to having a balanced composition, mathematically what leads this painting to be so attractive to people. And they look at the shapes, formulate that, and then recreate it. So you're basically dissecting the picture and then copying it. So in a way, you're still storing that information.
Basically learning like humans do. That's what humans do, right? We study art, we study how to draw, we study composition, we study anatomy.
But something takes a human 70 years, of their lifetime to be amazing, and it takes the computer like 7 days.
Well, that's why humans are inefficient and must be exterminated.
They're going to find out you're not a human. Stop it.
Beep boop bop boop beep boop. Yes, you make those NFTs there, computer.
They're going to find out Twitter's right and you're a bot. Stop.
I am a bot. Look, I mean, this is the thing. There is no stopping this. The genie has been let out of the bottle. The technology exists. And even if they fight it in court, people are going to still use it, misuse it, whatever, just like people are copying images off the internet and trying to claim them as their own prints at comic conventions and stuff. It's just a matter of getting busted.
I mean, the flip side is there's the copyright 25% difference. As long as it's 25% different, that would be like it's got the same composition, but it's 25% different because you don't have the exact same lighting or brush style or whatever. But they're learning all this stuff down to the brush styles, down to like the watercolor techniques, down to all of that, which is where it's really concerning.
Yeah. And an image is an image is an image. And I mean, they've even got filters on, I've played around with it some. They've got filters that you can mimic certain artist styles, and it's
specific artists.
Yes.
Which artists?
A lot of them dead.
I was going to say,
still.
But sometimes their stuff's still owned by an estate or something, though.
Well, at that point, if you're one of those artists, I would say, fine, I will lease you the right to create a filter to make stuff like mine, but I get a cut of every image created.
You would. I'd be like, fuck you, you're not using it, and I'll sue you if you do. But I'm more emotional and you're more, hey, money logic.
I'm just saying,
don't tell them you're a bot.
I don't know what to tell people. There is no stopping this. I mean, we can slow it down. We can try to put some laws in place to make sure that artists don't get screwed over. But the reality is
they're going to get screwed over.
Artists are going to get screwed over. If companies could get rid of artists and all their damn emotions and their emotional meltdowns and shit and just make the product, they would do it. I mean, that's the truth. For no other
reason than they get stuff done a lot faster because their artists wouldn't be on Twitter all day and Tumblr all day bitching. And Mastodon.
You think we're joking. That's actually, that would be a primary motivator. Like, okay, all these artists do is complain, and they're out there causing us damage on Twitter. So let's just replace them all with a bunch of bots and call it a day, because as long as the end result still sells or does what we need it to do, who gives a shit? And that's how a bean counter is going to think. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not artists. They don't care. They're going to look at the image and be like, and even consumers, they're going to look at the image and they're going to be like, is this cool or is this not cool? If it's cool, I'm going to buy it. It doesn't matter who made it, where it came from. Most people buy stuff. They have no idea who made it, you know, who drew it, whatever, any backstory about it. They don't care. They're like, do I like this? Does it resonate with me? Yes or no? And unfortunately, these programs can break all that emotion down into a mathematical equation. Say, let's make art that resonates with people, that is commercially viable. They probably have lines of code out there like, make this as appealing to the human eye as possible. Make this thing jump out to humans.
That's when they learn, like they're dissecting images by
What's
the
popular.
shapes and the, you know, and there is a lot of mathematics involved in art. I mean, a lot of times artists just do it instinctively, but you can take pictures and you can break it down, and there is a formula that you can find. That's how they're getting all this balance or flow or whatever. They find ways to do it.
I mean, spiders build webs instinctively, and they're mathematical. I mean, everything is math. Everything can be broken down to math, unfortunately. And these computers,
Even sound.
Everything. So it's scary. I mean, it really is scary. If you're a commercial, I mean, I would say if you're older, established in your career, I wouldn't worry about it too much because it's going to be a while. But if you're in art school right now, or you're in high school looking to go into art school, just realize this is the new reality. You're going to have to contend with it.
That doesn't mean that you can't be part of it, though. In a way,
that's true.
You know, as it grows, there will probably be still jobs associated with it that people can get into and get in on and be like more of the gatekeepers than the people that get thrown under the bus.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the way it worked with me. I started out doing graphic design, and it used to be that graphic design and web development were very specialized skills, and you know, I could command a premium price for what I did. And then it's like now here it is, 2023, and anybody can throw together a Wix page. Mm-hmm. You know, anybody can go to Fiverr and get a cheap logo. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's just kind of the way it goes. So you're going to have to be a couple steps ahead. I mean, personally, if AI could be trained to, you know, assist with some tedious tasks for some artists, I think it would be beneficial. But
flattening a page would be great.
Yeah, but it's not going to stop there. That's the thing. We know it's not going to. It's going to be like, why stop at flattening the page when you could just draw the whole page, you know, and do it cheaper. You know, buy the program once, pay a monthly subscription, and these comic book publishers can crank out as many comic books.
Right. Just have someone go through it, make sure everything's good, tweak it, take a week, and there you go. Boom, book done.
Yeah, pretty much. Because
they'll have writers do the AI writers too. They're already working on that as well.
I've seen AI scripts better than some of the shit that's being published right now. So I'm just saying. I mean, that's just the way it is. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. It's definitely worth keeping an eye on, for sure. But it is a concern. It's a legit concern. Don't get depressed yet, though. All right. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.